Hi everyone, so it's been the Julian Assange case today. It was heard at a British Crown Court. The judge actually agreed to give bail under the proviso that they would be able to come up with £240,000 in cash. They didn't allow a cheque because it takes 7 days to clear. I'm sure there's other ways to get money across them, and I usually do my payments over the internet in a matter of hours. But apparently, no, it had to be cash, £240,000 up front. The bail was granted under heavy restrictions conditions. Julian Assange was going to be held at a known location put up by someone in his support. There was also going to be heavy bail time restrictions. He was going to have to be in from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. He's also going to have to wear an electronic tag. He's also going to have to surrender his passport and was not allowed to make any travel arrangements. His defence also argued that he wouldn't be a flight risk because he's so well known. But given all the heavy restrictions as well, the bail was granted. Unfortunately, the Swedish authorities actually appealed that bail decision, and they were allowed to do so within 2 hours of the decision being made. So as it's being appealed, Julian Assange will be held for another 2 days in pretty tight conditions. Reporting on the BBC News, it says that he's not allowed access to any digital media. He's only been allowed to read one paper, and that was the Express, I believe. He was sent by friends a copy of Time magazine with an article about him. It was destroyed. The reason it was given was because the cover bore his photograph. So he's not been allowed any electronic equipment and very little access with the outside world. He's been kept in solitary confinement. If he is now kept until the proposed date of the extradition hearing, which is a separate matter to the rape hearing that was heard today, sexual assault. If he's held in custody until that extradition hearing, he will then have been in custody for longer than it is legally allowed in the UK to hold a suspected terrorist suspect without any evidence. Julian Assange has still not been officially formed with sexual assault. This is still just being held for questioning. The prosecution has still not handed over sufficient documents to warrant an extradition to Sweden. It was ruled in court that the offences that are brought up are very likely not to come under rape or sexual assault in a British court, and therefore don't meet the requirements for extradition. Speaking outside the court at 4:18 p.m, Ken Loach, the film director, said that it was good news that Assange had been granted bail. However, clearly, if the Swedish government opposes bail, it will show that there is some vindictiveness beyond this case. It will show that there is some political element that goes beyond the case. But please go check out the links. Yeah, it's a dodgy case backed up by pretty much nothing. Unprecedented restrictions and legal moves have been made here. Clearly seems to be some political motivation behind what's going on. And the point is, this is just not consistent at all with how sexual assault charges have ever been handled in a court of law in Sweden or England. Naomi Wolf wrote for the Huffington Post saying, "Keep Assange in prison without bail until he is questioned by all means. If we are suddenly in a real feminist worldwide epiphany about the seriousness of the issue of sex crime. But Interpol, Britain and Sweden must, if they are not to be guilty of hateful manipulation of a serious women's issue for cynical political purposes, imprison as well, at once, the hundreds of thousands of men in Britain, Sweden and around the world who are accused in far less ambiguous terms of far graver forms of assault. Anyone who works in supporting women who have been raped knows that from this grossly disproportionate response that Britain and Sweden, surely under pressure from the US, are cynically using the serious issue of rape as fig leaf to cover the shameful issue of mafioso-like global collusion in silencing dissent. This is not the state embracing feminism. This is the state pimping feminism." So there's been a poll posted in the Washington Post that apparently has proven that Americans say that WikiLeaks harm the public interest, and most people in America want Assange arrested. It says the American public is highly critical of the recent release of confidential US diplomatic cables on the WikiLeaks website and would support the arrest of the founder, Julian Assange, by US authorities, a new Washington Post ABC News poll finds. Most of them polled, 68%, say that the WikiLeaks exposure of government documents about the State Department and US diplomacy harms public interest. Nearly as many, 59%, say that the US government should arrest Assange and charge him with a crime for releasing diplomatic cables. First of all, he's made no fucking crime. There's been no fucking crime, okay? Second of all, exactly how has it harmed public interest? You're going to have to lay that out if you're going to call for the arrest of someone. If it's going to be a legal proceeding, you're going to have to explain how he's harmed the public interest and what crime has been committed. This amazing article goes on to say that though Americans are divided, the public response to the leaks represents a rare moment of shared perspective across partisan lines. Large majorities of Democrats, Republicans and Independents alike see the massive document release as harmful to the public interest, and yet not one of them can explain how. Fully three-quarters of Republicans say it harms the public interest, and nearly the same proportion believes he should be arrested by the United States. Among Democrats and Independents, slim majorities say the government should pursue criminal charges against Assange. So that's surprising. All you're telling us is that the top tier is basically the one and the same. That it's all about the money. That there is no political split anymore. That you're all just sat at the top trying not to fall off.